I always forget, at one point, you were the most subscribed channel on the platform.
Yeah. Two separate times.
Two separate times, yeah.
It was like a 3-month period and a 8-month period or something, I forget.
How was that? Like, how is it at one point you were at the top?
It was really cool.
Was there pressure though, I bet?
There was definitely pressure. And it filtered the way that I looked at everything that I did.
Yeah.
Right.
For better or worse. There was the good of like, ooh, everything that I make has some kind of value. I should put a lot of my time and energy in this because I know a lot of people are going to see it. And it really pushed me to constantly be pushing myself outside my boundary or out of my comfort zone.
Right.
Because I knew that it would, not literally pay off, but it would pay off in the sense that a lot of people would see it and potentially be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But then on the opposite side of that, there was a lot of getting in my own head about the pressure and how I have to live up to this. And then you're also always seeing comments of people saying like, how is this, whatever. And it's a lot of filtering it out to be like, it doesn't matter that some people don't like this. It's not for them, but it would get in my head of like, oh, I need to be better. And it was a lot of like this pressure.
You were mentioning earlier about how obviously when you started, you got a deal from a company.
Yeah.
I imagine when it was starting to ramp up and get to like #1 most subscribed, you're probably getting offered all sorts of weird and predatory stuff and probably just the most stressful company meetings ever.
Yeah. Dude, we had someone show up to my house. I was living with my mom, obviously, like in just like our small little tiny house outside of Sacramento, California, and there was this predatory. I don't want to call him predatory, but this guy came up in a business suit, and he's like, knocked on the door. My mom was like, "There's someone outside to see."
Oh no!
So Ian and I walk out, and we're like, what is up? And he's like, I got your address because I saw that you just registered for a business and it was marked under this address. So I figured I would just show up and tell you a few things about like what you could be doing, how you could be monetizing this. And I was like, I was 18, so I didn't know. And it was my first time with any kind of fame or notoriety. I didn't know that this was a fucked up thing to do. Yeah. So I entertained it. And
come on inside.
Would you like some tea?
I drew the line there. I did not invite him inside. There was no invitations inside.
Yeah.
But luckily he was a vampire and he could not enter without me inviting him. No, so he was like, okay, so your Pokemon theme song music video. Like it's this epic cinema piece of cinematic work, and he was like, it has 3 million views. So think about it this way: I could get you sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Oh my god!
And if you get $1,000 per million, that's $3,000 in your pocket like that. And I was like, first of all, do you actually know? Do you have any contacts with Coca-Cola? And he just started listing all, and I realized immediately that he was full of shit. He was trying to make some kind of a connection. And he was like, but like then McDonald's. And I was like, dude. So he clearly didn't know what he was talking about. Luckily, he only showed up one other time after that.
Yeah. Only one other time.
Just one other time. I was like, Mom, when that guy shows up again, you just ignore that man. The bad man in the suit, leave him.
Oh my God.
But luckily we were, we were not very smart, but we were smart enough to know that did not feel right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we were talking to like Sean Jacksepticeye like a few weeks ago, and how back in like the early days of YouTube, there was just no boundaries between fans and like the creators. So fans would literally show up at his house.
Oh yeah.
Did that happen to you a lot?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So Ian and I ended up renting this place together. He and we had another roommate with us too, and we lived there for I think 4 years, and that's when our videos were really, really, really starting to become popular, like 2009 to 2011 ish.
Right.
And there's so many ridiculous stories of like mobs of people. Like I'm trying to edit in my editing room, and there's like I just hear like people running around the house and like laughing and like looking through our trash.
What the fuck?
It was people did not know boundaries.
How did they find out where you live?
Because we were really stupid. And so like all blame is on us. But we would just shoot outside of our house.
Yeah, I was about to
our
say,
address would be in it. Our cross streets of like they knew exactly how to find us. And
because this was also during the time where you were doing the mail unboxings on the same channel, right? So I bet like that also came into it as well, right?
Yeah.
I remember like, way back when I used to watch this mail inbox.
Oh yeah,
Those are my favorites,
Dude,
dude. I love
those
those.
are so
videos.
wild.
I think at that time it was something so unique because obviously you know big massive celebrities would be getting this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, but I think it was the first time that like a normal person could just watch somebody receive all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
It really did show you the scope of like how strange
Yeah.
the common person can be with the items that they choose
Yeah.
to send you.
Yeah.
And the drawings that they choose to draw.
That must have been weird.
Oh,
Like, just-
yeah.
Well, what was some like the weirdest stuff you ever
I
got sent?
have some very good go-tos for that. Don't you worry. We
yes.
got
Yes.
we got Ziploc bag of dead bees.
What?
I want to know, how did they collect those?
They
bees?
might not have been bees. Maybe they look like bees.
Just
I did not
insects.
examine enough to know for sure. We have a slightly smaller, thinner bag of nail clippings.
Oh.
Yeah. Everyone.
Didn't you receive shit as well at one point?
We received stuff that smelled like shit that we never ventured into.
Right.
You didn't play with it? You didn't
We, yeah. I felt the texture. It's like, this is definitely
Gave it a little smell.
elephant shit.
It's definitely human shit.
We definitely had boxes, and we received so many boxes that we would sometimes just throw in our garage, and they would sit in the humidity and the heat, and it would be months before we'd get to it. And people thought it was so funny that they would send us sandwiches. And these sandwiches would just rot and mold and
Oh, because of like the food fight stuff. I imagine.
I don't know why, but it became a thing. And the Ziploc bags would, inflate with the gases from these things, and they would pop, and then the scent would just permeate throughout our entire house.
Oh, God.
You'd throw away the boxes once they were kind of
You could see like patches.
kind of sopping wet
Yeah,
or
yeah,
oily
yeah.
or greasy. But that quickly was like, it's probably about time to stop receiving the mail. Like, it was
Yeah.
fun. It was a great time period.
How long did you guys do that for?
I think we did it for like 3 or 4 years.
God.
Yeah.
God.
And by
It's
the
just
end, it was
fucked.
years of stuff just built
Yeah.
up, towers and towers of mail.
God.
Yeah.
But I guess every now and then you probably get something really fucking cool that you're like, yeah, this
Yeah.
is sick.
We
This
would
is sick.
receive some really cool shit.
Oh man.
Lots of used video games, and then I would just take them all to GameStop, and I'd be like, used video games, and then they'd be like $100 credit. I was like, 2 games I actually want.
That's so big.
not like the 8 copies of the Nintendogs ripoffs of like
my
puppies and like all these weird like ponies and cats with a Z. So many weird games that I would never be interested in playing. I was like, I can convert these into games I want to play. Yeah.
Is people just giving junk? Is this trying to get rid of it? Yeah.
Well, we were given a lot of stuff that we were given were just like people are looking for things to send.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, I wanted to
because-
send you something.
And they didn't
Yeah.
want to spend money on just sending because they didn't even know if we would see it. There was no guarantee. We didn't even know if we would see it. In fact, some of the things I hope, it's probably better off we didn't see half of the things that we did see. But people would send us just old stuff that they wanted to throw away.
Yeah,
because
because started a
that's-
garage sale or something, right?
It was like old shirts that had not been washed in years and had holes in
Oh.
them.
Yeah, because to them it was probably just like, yo, that's my shirt in
Yes,
the video.
yeah.
you know.
So then we had to start being really selective about the things that we showed. We had to stop showing the shit
shit.
stuff,
Yeah,
the dead stuff, the body, human body.
The human bodies.
the anything that came from a human body was no longer making it in the videos after a
Yeah.
certain point. Yeah, we realized that we were encouraging it, and then we also accidentally encouraged people to send us money because we had one video where someone, a few people sent us like $1 bills. So he's like, "Oh, we got $10," and like it was kind of a joke. And then we had to make we got $100, and then it was like we need to stop showing money altogether.
Yeah.
And we realized that anything that we showed was a direct call for people to send us more of it.
Right.
So eventually we had to stop showing the weird stuff or the really grandiose stuff because we didn't feel comfortable with either.
Right.
Yeah, actually, someone might feel bad if you show off like something really amazing, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, and I guess Charlotte from like Mexico sent me this like shitty little keychain."
Yeah.
And a lot of people were sending really sentimental,
Right.
handwritten things that we could never like if I wanted to read every one of those, and I really wish I could because they were so heartfelt, like it would have been a full-time job to do that instead of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a great problem to have.
Yeah. So you mentioned like, you were pretty much one of the first creators to get paid for doing what you do on YouTube. When did you start to realize, oh, this is like serious now. This is like gonna get big?
I mean, it depends. Like there's so many different levels of big. Like at that point, I already felt like it was a big thing.
Right.
Because I was like, we're one of the first people to get paid on this platform that I foresee as having longevity.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, I don't know. It was a little bit dicey though. So that was 2007, and then 4 years later, I didn't really know what the fate of YouTube was going to be.
Yeah,
and we had an offer from a company, which ultimately, their name ended up being Defy.
Right.
And they offered us then to buy our company for stock. It's a totally great idea.
Well, you've talked about this a lot in your video. About
Yeah. Obviously didn't end up being worth anything.
So how did they pitch it to you in a way that you both were like, yeah, this is a fucking great idea. Let's do it. Like, how did that like happen?
Yeah, and it is a complicated
I imagine,
process too, because the state of YouTube in 2011, it felt really like we didn't know where it was going.
Was that before or after the Google Plus thing they tried to shove in?
No, that was that was when I first started, so that was like 2014.
Yeah. That was ages ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was felt like everyone was
That
like,
was
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Google Plus is when Google tried to do Facebook, and
I
forgot
about that.
It was just a shit show.
And then a year, I think it lasted like a year,
And they cut it.
maybe, and then they were like, "Nah, we're getting rid of it."
I get it. The YouTube has been constantly, especially in its earlier days, it did seem like it was like, what the fuck is
It was. It felt very fragile for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So they presented it to us as, we're going to take all the website Smosh.com stuff off your plate, because I was doing all of that myself. Because I was actually, I actually made money before we started getting paid on YouTube by designing websites for people.
Right.
And that's how I was able to fund a lot of things. And side tangent, our videos actually started getting, we made like 2 lip sync videos before the Pokemon theme.
It works, baby. Keep it coming.
doing a little test run.
before we found out about YouTube, and I hosted it on my own website.
Yeah.
And because there was no website like YouTube to host it on.
Yeah.
And I created a little thing. It was it was an iframe, you copy paste there, and when you paste that to your page, it had instructions and everything. When you copy paste it to your MySpace page, it put the video there, and then it also had instructions to copy and paste for someone else. Like that was how I designed this, like a copy paste viral kind of thing.
All right.
And I didn't know how well that was doing with the 2 lip sync videos. It's so weird to say that that we did beforehand. But I did get the bill. I did see the bill, and it was a couple $100, and I didn't know how to convert that into how many views is this getting, but I knew it was getting a lot of views, or else I wouldn't have to pay a couple $100 for bandwidth on videos.
Right.
So you actually used to have to pay
for
bandwidth before
Yeah.
YouTube offered the service. So we found out about YouTube by me doing a search for one of the videos. I found that someone else had uploaded it to YouTube, and I sent him a message. I was like, hey, this video, thank you so much for uploading it here. We want to upload it ourselves. Do you mind removing it? And they said, yeah, absolutely. So we created our channel. Smosh was still 5 letters, still available.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of that.
Damn.
Shoot, I forgot where we were going. We were going with why Defy.
He asked you about
why did Defy, like how did that all come
how did they
around?
pitch it to you?
Okay. I got off on a side tangent because I was talking about how I designed the website.
Trash Station is all about tangents. Don't worry.
We always right in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's seamless. So they came to us and they were like, we will take care of the website, so you no longer have that stress to deal with, because every week the website was crashing and I was figuring out how to keep it up. And they had this huge plan of all the things that they were capable of and how they had the infrastructure to allow us to do all of our dreams. So they asked us, what do you want to do with this company? If you could make this company anything, what would it be? And we had these huge lofty goals. They said, we got all of that on lock. We have the infrastructure. We have the investors. We can make this happen.
Right.
And they offered us a certain amount of money in stock.
Yeah.
Sounded really good. More money than I thought that, I would ever see in my life before that.
Yeah.
So I was like, that sounds great. Obviously, this company is eventually going to go public. That's how they work, right?
Yeah.
I did not know. My lawyer did not tell me that that's not always the case. The people that we had surrounding us that were authority figures in some way to us on the situation did not break down the details of how that doesn't always happen and how that's actually a huge risk.
Yeah, of course.
So they bought full ownership and they paid us in yearly, annual salaries.
Right.
And they had this structure set up where it was like, this year, it's a pretty shitty salary, but next year it's an okay salary. But by year 4, you're gonna love your salary. So
Did that happen?
It did eventually play out
right.
that way, and I was pretty comfortable with it. I was like, we are making a good salary here. Like, what do we really have to complain about?
And I guess they're doing a lot of the stuff that you used to have to do, and they're looking for things and managing it. But then also, I imagine as a YouTuber, it's probably quite difficult to give that control.
It was too, because
else.
I did give that control away, and everything was not how I would have done it. So
Right.
I ended up working double time to teach them how to do the things, but then they were rehiring, and the way that bigger companies work is it's like you're never just building a one-on-one relationship with someone who you're like, you teach them once and they know and they keep going with that thing, and it's just a thing that happens now. It's like, no, you're reteaching and reteaching and reteaching until it's like, okay, let's abandon the website. And then it was like me abandoning a lot of the things that I had a dream of growing because I was not able to keep that up and also do the videos. I had to figure out where to put my time.